Hello and welcome to a pretty special feature game. This game is special for a couple of reasons. Firstly, it's special because it's an excellent example of what can happen when three OS players decide to division up and do, let's say, a tiny bit of carrying. It is also special because we're actually gonna switch between two of the players. Sadly, I could not get the video from the third, but still, we can switch between the two and get some different point of views. Now in this game, we are seeing Neal playing the Midway, Studi playing the Minotaur, and Soul playing the Tier 10 French premium battleship, which has a name I'm not even gonna attempt to pronounce. I usually just call it the Bourbon, doesn't make any sense, but it's easier to say. Regardless of that, we saw in the beginning that it's a game which features 5 battleships per side, a CV obviously, but only 2 destroyers. So it's a pretty good matchmaking for a battleship. Bit harder perhaps for the Minotaur since battleship AP can definitely wreck it. For Neal in the CV, not that much work to try and get rid of the DDs, and then getting a lot of damage on battleships is an excellent opportunity. We see that the division has spawned north of sea on Islands of Ice and are slowly making their way down towards the cap, or at least Studi and Soul, of course. The enemy CV came up and spotted them for a bit, and Studi took quite a significant hit. But he is now making his way into the cap. Soul, with a bit better range and obviously health pool, take a bit of damage as well, but it's very, very small. And in return he can lob some HE shells at whatever battleship is in range. Switching to Studi, we see that he has now entered the cap and can sit behind the island and lob shells over it. Sadly, the spots disappear when the Sted 52 goes behind the island as well. The Sted is also pushing south of the island in front of them a bit, so Studi goes around to see if they can maybe support, and behind them we have Soul as well. Studi is detected. We know that there is a Benson close by, so it's most likely him that has detected him. Quickly he goes behind the cover of the islands again, take a pot shot when he can. Looks like he's contemplating torping the smoke, but the Sted 52 decided to sail out just as he was aiming his torps, so that plan had to be abandoned. Good use of the islands here enables Studi to get out of harm's way fairly quickly. And he can eventually also get undetected. The enemy team gets the first kill. It's a Des Moines killing a Mogami over at A, which the enemy has kept, and while our trios team did take C, it's now being contested by the enemy. Studi smokes up and starts hammering the Massachusetts. He also has support from Soul, both his secondaries and his main battery. So the Massachusetts is taking a fair amount of beating. Stealth 52 is still sitting at the same position. Not entirely sure if he is detecting perhaps Massachusetts with his hider or something, but not doing too much. Soul starts pushing down a bit, and for those of you that know Soul, you will know that he is a world-class kill stealer. But even with that knowledge, I don't think I've ever seen anything like the sequence we are about to see. We see that Prince Eugen and Massachusetts continuing to push east, and they are both very, very low. Soul is prepared with AP, and his front turrets are reloaded by the time the Prince Eugen sails past the island, and he gets his first kill. Massachusetts is next. Soul is trying to get his rear gun on him. He's basically dead, but with 1000 damage, Soul secures the kill. And then we have the Benson. Neal is doing some damage with his rocket planes. And another 1500 HP, and Soul gets his third kill. Now, if you paid attention, you might have noticed that the first kill came at 13:45 and the last at 13:16. So in 29 seconds, Soul managed to get 3 kills. That's a new level of disgusting even for him. That's basically all I can say about that, because yeah, 3 kills, basically 1 kill per 10 seconds, that's just ridiculous. Especially since he hadn't really done much damage, with less than 40,000 at that point. So it's not like he had really worn the enemy ships down. But still, he shoots 3 times, hits 3 times, kills 3 times, so well executed, even though it is a bit disgusting. The Richelieu is running away, eating damage from both Soul and Studi, and Neal comes in and finish him off with some torpedoes. C is definitely secured now. The only ship left was the Midway, which is running westwards now that there is no ships in the way to protect him. Together with Studi and Soul, we have the Stealth 52 and the Worcester, Neal being a bit further behind. And the 4 of the normal surface ships are now moving towards B, and we can also see that in A, the enemy team has most of the ships and are slowly but surely taking down the ships, and they have been able to keep the cap. And at their side they only have a Yu Yang and a Hindenburg left. So it's definitely around B we will see the main fight for the rest of the game. Soul takes a fair bit of damage from some bombers, gets a double fire but chooses not to repair. Obviously the risk is that you can repair and then get a double fire again, but maybe it would have been worth the risk anyway. Nevertheless, Soul secures his 4th kills. Again, not too much damage done, but he's racking up those kills. Studi have been forced to run away from B. He grounds a bit as he's trying to run away, but luckily for him, the damage he takes is not too severe. So he's trying to get around back again to support DD in B. The Loyang and Hindenburg are still alive, but the enemy team is starting to make their way towards B, which has now been taken by the friendly team. Daring is detected. Studi smokes up to start shooting at him. Because he didn't have enough time to slow down enough, he was detected before the smoke fully covered him. And he does do it well by turning away, and that way he minimizes the damage they take, but had Musashi and Yamato been a bit better at shooting, they would have been able to hit him much harder. So it's always a bit risky to start shooting before you're fully in the smoke, but turning away like the way he did definitely saved him, and he did that very well. Studi gets his first kill as well, as Soul finishes off the Yamato and gets his Kraken with only 87,000 damage. Now, even though Soul, Studi and Neal has together killed 7 ships already, they are quite far from a win, actually. Less than 100 points ahead, but at least same number of ships. Now, I don't have the bourbon myself, but from what Soul says, the AP is a bit weak, especially at a bit longer ranges. Even so, there have been some occasions in this game where it at least looks like it could have been viable to use AP, but like I said, since I don't have the ship myself, I will have to take Soul's word for it. And that shooting HE and burning down ships is the better option. Soul is taking quite a bit of beating, but he is about to finish off the Musashi as well, and securing his 6th kill. In B, we have a Daring, while the Kurfürst and Wooster are still hanging around in A. They did manage to kill the Hindenburg, but Loyang is still there trying to contain them a bit. Neal managed to get Confederate, as Soul is once again taking a heavy beating from basically every ship in the enemy team. Studi trying to help up a bit and hopefully get some more kills. Torps the smoke, which the Daring is sitting at, but also the Kurfürst is sailing towards. Smokes up as they start shooting at Daring. And this time there's not anything really shooting at him, so he gets by with just some secondary damage from the Kurfürst. So they finished the Daring. and meanwhile Soul gets his Confederate, but unfortunately we have some torps incoming from the Daring which will kill Soul. So it's still even on ships, 3 versus 3. The friendly team does have the advantage due to having both the B and C cap. But it is still not quite over. Studi can sit in the smoke and really hammer the curve first, up until the point the booster pops out and starts shooting. Studi managed to get his Confederate, and a few seconds later Neal gets the Widower. Studi also managed to kill off the booster. Feels like a bit of a mistake from his side to shoot HE. Probably could have done more damage with AP, but that's a mistake from his part. Neal finished off the curve first, and at this point Soul, Studi and Neal has together 11 kills out of 11 possible. So they have been doing really well. Our game is basically over. It's a Wooster Minotaur, both ships with very good AA, so the Midway is unlikely to be able to kill both of them and then also go for Neal. Midway is detected running north on the 1 line, and both Studi and the Wooster are now racing to get in range and start getting damage and trying to get the kill. Studi is obviously the one spotting, trying to do some damage with his planes. And at this point it's really a race of who will get the last couple of HP on the Midway and secure the kill. Meanwhile in the chat, Soul, like so often, is making new friends. Someone made a mistake of saying that the only reason for Soul doing well or getting 6 kills is because he was playing in an OP ship. And obviously Soul had 1 or 2 things to say about that, but it's expected when you play with Soul. Studi is now in range, so is the Wooster, and Neal is doing his best to get some damage with his torpedo bombers. The Midway is fairly close to the maximum range of Studi, but he's making sure he can fire all his guns regardless. Wooster is a fair bit closer, but Studi is doing all he can to secure the 12th kill of the division. Neal continuously sent planes, try and help out, but in the end, unfortunately, the Wooster will get the kill, and we stop at 11 for Soul, Studi and Neal. But still a very good performance. As for the results, I only have the team score, but we can instantly see that Studi, Neal and Soul are at the top of their team. All of them managed to get above 2,300 base XP, which is a good results any day of the week, but all 3 of them in the same game, that's really, really good. The Wooster that got the last kill did manage to get above 2.1k himself, so he definitely didn't have a bad game, but it's a bit unfortunate that Studi and Neal couldn't finish off the midway and get the last kill as well to make it all 12. But still, 11 kills, really, really good. We also saw that Soul got a Kraken and a Confederate, Neal got a Confederate and a Witherer, and Studi got the Confederate. Soul managed 150,000 damage. It was fairly low for quite some time, but in the end he managed to rack up a decent amount. And 6 kills to go with it is definitely nothing to be too ashamed of. Studi did a little bit better damage-wise, 168,000, and got 3 kills with that. Unfortunately, I don't have the damage of Neal, but considering he got the Confederate and Wither, it's fair to say he didn't do too badly. He also got 2 kills, so a good game from all 3. Rest of the team, nothing really extraordinary. The Bismarck really failed. And on an M team, it was mostly the midway that did really well. A few others did okay, but this was really the game of the Offs division. I keep going back to 11 kills because that's just an insanely good results. And Soul, 3 kills in 29 seconds. Yes, there were dirty kills still, but still, it's also really impressive to get kills that quickly in battleships without the secondaries resulting in any of the kills. So all in all, a really good game from the 3. And like I said in the beginning, definitely a good example of what an Offs division can achieve. So I hope you enjoyed it, and lastly, if you want to see either Studi's or Soul's full game, the links are in the descriptions, but they will be without any commentary, but if you want to check them out, go ahead. Either way, I hope you enjoyed it, and why don't you try to beat them, see if you can do it.